In previous episodes, Junior's mother told them that she has cancer, but this didn't matter much because the next episode, Chucky threw her out of the window in the same style as in the first movie of the saga. On the other hand, the worst detective in history arrested the teacher because there were prints of her in the school, the kids talked to Andy, and Tiff moved with Nika to her new house. Finally, Chucky found the kids, but instead of attacking them, he did an act of heroism for the country and killed the worst detective ever. And I don't know how our protagonists are going to explain that a doll killed both women. That's why today on the Summarizer, Chucky Episode 7. The episode starts at Bree's funeral, which is at Junior's house, so I imagine they quickly removed the corpse of the detective who died in the previous episode and set everything up for the funeral. I don't know, but the point is that Jake, his uncle Logan, and Junior are super sad, but there's also Lexi's family who go to pay their condolences to the family. There, Lexi's parents tell Logan that whatever they need, they'll be there to help them. And nothing happens until Lexi goes to talk to Jake, and there they also meet Devin. They say that they are sorry for the death of his mother, and there he tells them that he's going to stay with his aunt. At that moment, Jake tells him that later they can go together and see what they're going to do next. But there, Lexi says she can't because she's grounded, and Devin tells them that the night before, someone called her mother on the phone, told her that he was in trouble and that he was in the house. And the one who called her was none other than Chucky. And even though they don't understand why, they realize that he wanted Devin to see his mother die, just like he did with Junior and Jake. After that, they wonder why Chucky's killing their parents, but they don't know, and Devin says that for now, the best thing to do is split up and just survive Chucky. But at that moment, Junior appears, upset with Jake because all the people who are close to him are dying, and there he punches Jake in the face and his father takes them away. At one point during the funeral, Tiffany arrives, says hello to Logan, tells him that she's so sorry for his loss, and before leaving, she kisses him?
What?
Well, I don't know, but after that she leaves, and now we're shown another flashback to Chicago in 1988, with Charles Lee Ray and Tiffany as Young moving to another house. There, Charles tells her he's hungry, they order a pizza, and I guess they didn't pay the delivery guy. Back to the present, Andy and his stepsister are traveling to Hackensack. At one point in the trip, Andy wants to drive, but she won't let him because he's supposedly a really bad driver. And I don't know if that's a reference to other movies, I really don't remember. But if any of you remember, comment it below, and by the way, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the last episode next week, okay?
Oh, okay.
At one point, they stop at a gas station, and when they finish filling up, Andy gets into the driver's seat. But he closes the door and decides to leave his sister in the middle of nowhere alone, I guess to protect her from Chucky. Back at Lexi's house, she's having fun with her sister breaking dolls, and Devin is a little depressed breaking everything he had about investigations, homicides, Charles Lee Ray, and other stuff. Because I don't know why he doesn't want to stay with his aunt and wants to go to a foster house. There, Jake tells him he can stay at his uncle's, but Devin tells him he's scared and wants to leave. Jake starts saying that when his mother died, he wanted to run away too, but what stopped him was the thought of never seeing him again, so he stayed. But there, Devin tells him that being around him only hurts him, and every time he sees him, he remembers his mother lying on the floor. So after that, he says he doesn't want to see him anymore, and Jake leaves the house. Meanwhile, at Junior's house, his father's angry because he hit his cousin, and if coaches find out he's a hothead, they'll kick his ass to the curb. Anyway, Junior doesn't give a shit about this, and at one point, Junior asks him who that woman who kissed him was. But Logan has no idea, tells him that maybe she was a friend of his mother's, and leaves. And there we learn that Chucky's in Junior's room, and apparently now the two are friends. After that, Madam Mayor gives a talk about the insecurity in the city and that she's going to do everything she can to get justice. But at one point, she's asked if the detective's death may be related to the recent murders and if it's possible that an innocent woman was arrested. But there, she gives a shitty talk saying they need to focus on the future and healing the Hackensack community. And what better way to do it than with a big event? So she says they're going to do a charity matinee of the Universal classic Frankenstein that will take place tomorrow as planned. A fun-filled afternoon of G-rated horror for the whole family, the proceeds of which will go directly to Better Days children's hospitals all over the country. And as an added treat, a very special celebrity guest will be joining them that day to host an auction prior to the screening. And after all this, the reporters, instead of asking something about the murders, I don't know why, they ask Caroline if she wants to be a mayor like her mother when she grows up. And I don't even know why she answers that Chucky told her to murder her mother. So that ends the conversation. There, Lexi asks her what exactly Chucky told her, and the girl says that he told her to kill everyone, her father, her mother, and her sister. Later, Logan arrives home drunk, and apparently Chucky and Junior are now friends. Junior tells Chucky that his mother said his father was always trying to be his best, but then Chucky Chucky tells him that his father's an asshole. Junior says that he already knows that, but it's too late, and Chucky tells him that it's never too late and that his father may be dead too. There they go into a conversation, and Junior's angry because his father kissed another woman at his mother's funeral. Chucky wants to convince him to murder his father, and in the process his ex-girlfriend and his cousin, because they all deserve to die, and everything was fine before Jake shows up. There, Junior tells him he doesn't know if he can do it, but Chucky convinces him by saying he must prove he's better than his cousin. Meanwhile, Jake is packing his things to leave his uncle's house, but when he's leaving, he hears someone's voice in Junior's room. He doesn't give a shit though, and goes to say goodbye to his uncle. Well, not really, because he just steals money from his wallet and goes to hell while Junior sees everything. Meanwhile, Devin starts looking at the pictures with his mother and decides to go back and investigate about Charles Lee Ray, so he grabs the picture of his old house, the usual taser, and goes to check it out. Jake goes to take a bus, but before that we get to another flashback in Chicago in 1988 when Tiffany arrives at the house but starts hearing screaming. And upon opening the door, she realizes her boyfriend is killing without her. There she gets angry because it's been a long time since the two of them got out together to dinner and then kill people. It seems that the relationship is not going very well, and they didn't kill people together in a long time. But Charles doesn't give a shit about the couple's problems. He goes off alone and leaves his girlfriend alone in the house. Back to the present, Tiff goes to see Junior, and even though he tells her that they still don't know each other, she brings him some food so he can get over the difficult moment. There, Junior recognizes her from his mother's funeral, and she tells him not to worry and that things will get better. After that, she asks about Jake, but Junior doesn't answer and is still interested in knowing what happened between her and his father. And when he asks her again where she knows his father from, she acts surprised and tells him that she thought Logan had already told him. So she tells him not to tell anyone that they saw each other and leaves without Junior understanding anything. Meanwhile, Devin goes to investigate Charles's old house. When he arrives at the house, he turns on a flashlight and decides to investigate through a window. And here you can tell that he's the son of the worst detective in history, because listen to the noise he makes to enter the house. And inside the house, Nika Pierce hears the noise and starts screaming for help. Meanwhile, Jake is at the bus station about to leave Hackensack, but at one point he sees a man with a good guy's doll, so he starts chasing him and asks what he's doing with the doll. The guy tells him that he's just working and should send it to a house, but Jake says he needs it and ends up buying it for $350. And the only important information he gets out of this guy is that the doll was supposed to take him to 987 Sherwood Lane, which is the address of the house where Charles Lee Ray lived as a kid. However, the doll doesn't seem to have Chucky in it, and it seems that Jake spent $350 on nothing. Meanwhile, Devin continues to investigate the house and finds Nika Pierce tied up. He starts to help her, unties her, and he asks her what her name is. But at that moment, she starts laughing, and apparently now it's Chucky in Nika's body, who grabbed the taser and goes to attack Devin. At this point, Jake decides to come back and brings the doll he bought to Lexi. And even though she's worried, he tells her that the doll is not possessed as fuck. There, Lexi tells him that leaving alone was selfish and that he shouldn't abandon his real family, which is her and Devin. After that, Jake tells her that they were sending the doll to the address I already mentioned, and when they go to look for Devin, they find out from a snap that he's not at home, but went out to walk or something. But at one point, they start looking on the internet, and there, Lexi realizes that that address is the former home of Charles Lee Ray, and Jake also realizes that Devin is at that same address, and apparently he's tied up in a place full of dolls just like Chucky. Meanwhile, at Junior's house, Logan, super drunk, enters his room and starts talking to him. But Chucky won't stop talking and starts saying that his wife killed herself because of him, because he cheated on her with the girl at the funeral. And though Logan doesn't quite understand why the doll is talking, he tells his son that he'd never done something like that to his wife. But at one point, they have a fight and Logan hits the wall, and after he gets up, he tells his son that his mother didn't kill herself because he cheated on her, she killed herself because she's a quitter just like him. And then Junior gets even angrier and starts to hit him with the doll. And as much as the murder was Junior's, he did it with the doll and also because he was convinced by Chucky, so let's count this kill as well. While Lexi and Jake wait for the Uber to go get Devin, she tells him that she discovered that Chucky tried to get her sister to kill too. There, Jake realizes that first it was him, then Lexi, and now Caroline, and they wonder why Chucky is murder whispering everyone. It also strikes them because clearly the doll doesn't need help killing people, and they don't understand what he gains from that. But as we see that the Chucky from Lexi's house is alive, the Chucky who was with Junior starts thanking him for killing his father and tells him that he has no idea how hard it was to get someone to kill. And after that, they start singing super happy. Because apparently now Chucky has a whole army of living dolls, and finally he tells Junior that thanks to him, the real fun can begin. And now Andy finally arrives at Junior's house for the final episode. And so ends the 7th episode of the Chucky series with 3 kills, bringing the Chucky's total up to 18 kills so far. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the final episode next week. Also comment what movies or series you'd like me to summarize and share this video with your friends. See you later.
Go to work.
Okay. Bye.